Hey there, it's Anonymous Tea, where we spill the tea anonymously. Hello, 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 everyone. Hello, YouTubers. Hope you guys are all having an amazing day today, sending good vibes, sending positivity, sending blessings, and good energy to each and every single one of you. Thank you so much for tuning in. So today we are talking the Ultimatum reunion, and in this particular video, we are talking about the updates from Brian and Lisa, you guys, and their behavior during the reunion, in which I couldn't get through, right? So there were several issues here. So those of you who do not know, the last few episodes, including the reunion, dropped early Wednesday at 3 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I was like, you know what? Let me just go right to the reunion and see what's what, right? I need to see. I think, you know, Lisa, there's been over a year since this was filmed. She's going to come in apologetic. She is going to say, you know, her actions were out of bounds. She should not be tearing down another black woman. She should not be doing domestic issues and all of the behavior and slapping people on national television, on global television. There are more effective ways to handle your issues and resolve your issues. And unfortunately, none of that happened, you guys. I had to turn off the reunion. I believe it was after like 10 or 15 minutes or so, because I was completely disgusted. Because at that point in time, the lack of accountability, the lack of responsibility, the lack of the host, Nick Lachey and Vanessa Lachey, holding Lisa accountable at all, you guys. I couldn't take it. I was too through, right? So they start off the reunion with like all of the couples, sans Brian and Lisa, and they do like a special entrance for them. And Lisa comes out looking snatched, so everybody's trying to figure out, okay, was she or wasn't she preggo? And as you guys know, in my last video, I told you they did an interview with E! Online last week saying that they had a baby boy that was 4 months old. But at the timing of this filming for the reunion, the update was that she in fact did get pregnant and that the baby boy was 7 weeks, right? And I know some of you guys are doing the math and you're like, okay, what is going on? Did she get preggo after the show wrap? Like, what is the tea, right? And I can tell you, I don't know. I don't know. And I know some of you are very skeptical, right? I know some of you are very skeptical. And so immediately, you know, they go into some of the comments Lisa was making, how she was losing her mind over Brian and Riah having a conversation and all of the things, and saying that Riah was, quote, after her man. And Lisa had so much energy. She was talking like very monotone and subdued, but the moment that it switched on to Riah, she had all this energy, she had all this smoke, she had all these things to say, and like basically hates the girl for no reason, right? You're the one that brought Brian on the show as an ultimatum. You're the one that, you know, felt a certain way that he refuses to wife you, right? So you thought by doing this show, which news alert, you switch couples, you get to know other people that are there to see whether or not your existing connection is better or not. Like are we just gonna play stupid and just not know what the show's about, right? And it's so in the irony, because your conversations with Riah's man Trey were also on another level. And had you and both Brian stayed on the show, you guys would not be with each other right now. That's just real talk, right? And so then Vanessa Lachey reveals that, you know, talking about the comment that Lisa made to Riah that she's just a Hooters bleep. And come to find out, guess who else worked at Hooters? None other than Lisa herself, you guys. So just make it make sense as to the audacity. And basically Lisa sitting there, she's doubling down. She's like, you know what? I don't take back anything I said. I meant every word I said. Riah feels a certain type of way because she's like, why are you taking me out to get her nails done and trying to be nice to me if you still feel strongly about all these negative things about me and all of the things, right? And so I'm thinking at any point in time, can Trey say something? Can Trey come in and defend his girl, right? And he was nowhere to be found. It had to be Antonio, a man who's in a completely different couple, you guys, a completely different relationship, that basically had Riah's back and said, hey, we're all on the show. We all had a preferred person that we wanted to do a swap with, that we wanted to do our trial marriage with. That is the purpose of the show, right? And the whole point is to form a connection with other people, but to assess whether that connection was stronger than the one that you exist, right? That exists with you and your current partner. So why do you have all this smoke that quote unquote Riah was after Matt? And here's the thing. Riah doesn't have to be after Brian if he is not giving her the signal to go on ahead and make some things happen, right? And you can tell that Brian and Riah were physically attracted to each other. There's even clips of Brian saying how physically attracted he was to Riah, to her face, and how beautiful and gorgeous she is. But Lisa is the type of female who makes the man who is actively flirting and actively trying to pursue things with another woman, makes it about the other woman, you guys, instead of holding her own man accountable. And where was Brian? Brian was mute. I mean, I had to look. I was like, is this Stockholm Syndrome? Like, why can't this guy talk, right? And so, again, Lisa is not, apologizing at all. Doesn't feel that she owes Riah apology because she was, quote unquote, after her man on a show where you're supposed to pursue other people in the first place. And then there were two things that really just ticked me that I turned off the episode after. One was Miss Roxanne coming in, right? And saying, we should blame it on the pregnancy hormones. What a slap in the face to any of you who have ever been pregnant and you are not hauling off slapping people, you guys, and calling people roaches and calling people Hooters bleep, right? Like, the audacity of Roxanne to minimize all of the disgusting and trifling things that Lisa said and did as it pertained to not only just Brian, but Riah as well, to quote-unquote pregnancy hormones. And then Lisa had the audacity to piggyback, you guys. She had the audacity to piggyback and say, you know what? That's probably what it was, just the pregnancy hormones and this and that. Even though she still technically was not giving an apology. But she tried to piggyback off of that and try to use that as an excuse to try to explain away her behavior. And I am not featuring any of it, you guys. I am not here for any of it. Lisa still needs to be held accountable. I was pissed off. And then to put the cherry on top, Nick Lachey and Vanessa Lachey are like, you know what? It is a love ultimatum, tradition with the goblet, and they get 2 gifts for Brian and Lisa for having the baby, and give them an ultimatum, I believe, sippy cup and an ultimatum pacifier in silver. And it's like, who cares, right? We have bigger issues to fry. You could have did this at the end of the episode. Nonetheless, we get a status update on Lisa and Brian, you guys. And you're thinking, okay, it's been a year. You guys have a baby. The whole purpose of the show was for you to either get engaged and eventually get married, or break up, right? Or stay still and make zero progress, right? And so we're thinking, you know what? Lisa's engaged now, right? There are plans for her and Brian to tie the knot finally, right? And guess what? Not only is there not a ring on Lisa's finger, you guys, there is zero plans for an engagement. There is zero plans for any marriage. Brian basically was like, I am locked in as far as being locked in with this child and locked in being a dad, you guys. Basically telling Lisa what's understood doesn't need to be explained. She knows how I feel about her. What? And then the audacity to go on Instagram and post love wins. No. Dysfunction and toxicity wins, you guys. Dysfunction and toxicity wins because that's what we were subjected to. And I was just over it. So at the end of the day, all of the smoke you had for Riah, and you have nothing to show for it. Yes, you have a boy who didn't need to come into this toxicity, but ultimately, you are nowhere further than you were a year ago when you first started filming the show. So what do you have to say for yourself? And you specifically said in the first episode that you wanted to get married and that you could take care of Brian and that you had the finances and everything else. And like I said in the last video, he doesn't care. Because if all of that mattered to him and he just wanted to be a kept man and all of the things, he would have married you a long time ago, right? But there is a reason why he does not want to marry you. And ultimately that reason is going to be until he finds somebody better. But the problem now is, now that there's a child involved, what woman is going to want to deal with Lisa's madness, right? Because Lisa is the type of woman that, because she is the two-time baby mama, because those of you guys who don't remember, she also has a 10-year-old from a previous relationship that came out in the cast information, the cast bios, I believe, right? But it was never shown on the show. But ultimately, this is her second rodeo. This is her second rodeo. This is her second baby daddy. And no ring, no marriage in sight, you guys. So she's up there sitting on the panel talking about, I'm not trying to be, you know, a two-time baby mama for the rest of my life, and that we got to make something happen, and blah, 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 blah. And you're going to be waiting forever, Lisa, if you think that your person is Brian, right? Like, I don't know what other signs, what other clues that you need. Brian, like I said, is biding his time. He is waiting for this press of the show to go over before he gets back in those DMs and see what people are talking about, right? Because ultimately he's trying to actively plan his escape, right? And all that reunion showed me is that there were several arguments about Riah that Brian and Lisa were having, which tells me Brian still feels a certain way about her, because you should be unbothered. You didn't have to finish the process. It has been an entire year. So why are you still upset like this? As if something just went down the other day between Riah and Brian, right? And all that tells me is, no, Brian, you are not locked in. No, Brian, you have no plans of any type of commitment to Lisa. You guys are no further. You've made zero progress from a year ago. And I can't imagine what Brian's family and friends think of the foolishness that has been displayed, and your girl getting dragged all over social media for her disgusting and toxic behavior. And you sitting there doing nothing. And then at the very tiny end, trying to stick up for her. But by that point, nobody cared, right? Because you were mute the other time, right? So nobody cares at that point. But that was basically it. Like I said, after that, I turned it off because I was like, if we're just going to just slide by abuse and not address it on Netflix, if we're just going to slide by and just allow, you know, Lisa to just double down on her nasty behavior, if we're just going to slide by, considering Vanessa, who has like a whole bunch of kids, has the audacity to just let it slide from Roxanne. Oh, it's pregnancy hormones that caused you to slap your man. Oh, it's pregnancy hormones that allowed you to call somebody a roach and a Hooters bleep, even though you worked at Hooters too. Make it make sense, you guys. Make it make sense, right? But I was disgusted. Like I said, I turned off the reunion after that. I couldn't do it anymore. This season needs to be put away and never thought of again, you guys. We should never talk about this season of the Ultimatum again, because it is a far cry from the better version of the show that season 1 was, right? They should have immediately, the moment that Brian and Lisa dropped out, replaced them with another black couple. You should have had alternate couples in the event something crazy like Lisa and Brian's situation happened. But no, right? So there is that. So let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments. Please do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you're notified the moment I post new content on my channel. And with that being said, I'll talk to you guys again very soon.